Of course, being in a strange place like that, I didn't know what to expect. Cricket can't be too careful, you know. So I ducked behind the coal shovel and peeked out. Well, sir, you never saw such a place. The shop was filled with strings, and play with them I heard voices. In a jiffy, I made it to a chair and hid where I could look out and watch. Down the stairs came a cat, followed by 2 feet attached to a kindly old gentleman. "All he needs is a little more paint and he'll be finished," the old gentleman was telling the cat. Well, I could see he meant the puppet because he started dabbing paint on him, putting on eyebrows and things. Then he said, "I think he'll be all right, don't you, Figaro?" And the cat sort of nodded, although bothering the old man, Geppetto, by making passes at the paintbrush. Pretty soon the puppet was finished, and Geppetto tried to think of a name for him. Finally he decided, Pinocchio. Pinocchio must be his name. But the cat didn't like it, and Cleo, the pet fish, swimming around the fish bowl, she didn't like it either, shaking her head when Geppetto asked her. Then Geppetto said they'd leave it up to the puppet, and slyly pulled the right string so the puppet nodded a great big yes. So Pinocchio it was. Then Geppetto decided to start up a music box so he could dance with Pinocchio by pulling the strings and pivoting him about.
Music!
Told Figaro the little puppet looked almost alive, and before the old woodcarver fell asleep, he looked out at the wishing star and made a wish. That his little Pinocchio might be a real boy, never dreaming that... But wait, I'm getting ahead of the story. As for me, I settled down and was just about to sleep when a bright star, the wishing star, came right down out of the sky, making a very bright light. It came right on in through the window and turned into, as I live and breathe, a fairy, a blue fairy. Now this blue fairy went over to where Geppetto was sleeping. "Good Geppetto," she said, "you have given so much happiness to others. You deserve to have your wish come true." Then she said to Pinocchio, "Little puppet made of pine, wake, the gift of life is thine." So Pinocchio, with his strings gone, rubbed his eyes and said, "I can move! I can talk!" Then the fairy told him he was not to be a real boy yet, but that if he proved himself brave, truthful, and unselfish, someday he would be a real boy. It was up to him. He'd have to learn to choose between right and wrong, and his conscience would tell him. About this time, I got in the act, explaining to Pinocchio that a conscience was a still, small voice that people won't listen to. Then he asked the fairy if I was his conscience. She asked me if I'd like to be, and I said, well, So she said, "Kneel, Mr. Cricket. I dub thee Pinocchio's conscience." Then she tapped me on the shoulder with her wand, and there was a brilliant light, and I was Sir Jiminy Cricket, wearing a complete new outfit of the fanciest duds you ever saw. If everything turned out all right, she said, I might even get a solid gold badge. And then she disappeared. After that, Pinocchio and I had a heart-to-heart talk, and Pinocchio said, "I'm going to do right." "Attaboy," I said, "and I'm going to help you. Anytime you need me, just whistle." Of course, Pinocchio didn't know how to whistle, so I showed him. Just as we finished the song, he danced right off the edge and fell in a heap among the paint pots. The noise woke up Geppetto and Figaro, who came running. When they found Pinocchio could move and walk and talk, there was some excitement around there, you can bet. The next day, Geppetto sent Pinocchio off to school. The old gentleman was pretty happy, calling Pinocchio son, and Pinocchio calling him father. How could they know that some old meanies would make a school? Honest John the Fox told him all about the happy life of actors. Honest John and Gideon got Pinocchio to forget about school and go with them and become an actor. And that's where Pinocchio made his first big mistake.